Hey everyone, so they're remaking The Night of the Hunter, which is one of my favorite movies, directed by Charles Laughton. If you've never seen it, you should check it out. I made a little video about it early on in the Acolytes of Horror channel. Really well written. I think it holds up pretty well. I love The Night of the Hunter. I love the way it combines like horror and fairy tale elements. It really feels like those old timey like German fairy tales in a way where it's it's about innocence struggling to survive in a cruel world, and that innocence is sort of given equal weight to the disgusting horror evil preacher guy. It's about this preacher who is stealing money from these widows and killing them. Basically, yeah, he marries them and then he kills them. Anyway, it's one of those movies that's so much like it's kind of everything. It's whimsical, it's terrifying, it's sort of abstract and expressionistic and naturalistic. It's I don't know. It's kind of old fashioned and super subversive, and there's just sort of like any one thing in it is so interconnected with all these other images and ideas that you just don't really see put together all that often. And it's done so in such a unique way that, The Night of the Hunter just sort of is Charles Laughton's vision. And to remake it is kind of like to remake Citizen Kane or something. It's sort of like, well, what are we even doing? Because the best version of this has already existed and will always exist. But remaking it, we are, and everybody's really freaking out about it. I'm trying to think about like, well, what could this thing be in the best case scenario? Because there are some flaws to The Night of the Hunter, I think. Uh, the child actors are quite bad in the original Night of the Hunter. Even Charles Laughton and Robert Mitchum were pretty candid about struggling with the child actors. And what can you do? They're kids. They can they can only do what they can do. And in the 50s, things were shot a bit more like theater, where the takes were a lot longer. And so I think more was probably asked of those child actors than modern standards, which favor a more like close up, close up, close up. Everything's really segmented so the editors have maximum power. So you can probably burn more takes with a child actor until you get that perfect little 5-second chunk, and then switch it into another 5-second chunk that was also good, and et cetera, et cetera. I think that's something that maybe could be improved, and maybe because of that, they could even set it from the kids' perspectives a little bit more. The original is a lot more about, it kind of follows a lot of different point of view characters, and we get to know everyone pretty well outside of the point of view of the kids, which is great because it heightens the tension. There's that irony. You're waiting to see when the kids are going to find out just how bad this guy is. But maybe there's something to be said for taking another approach where we learn things as the kids learn things about this pastor guy. And another thing, I think like the mother character is underwritten in The Night of the Hunter. She's very quick to does not believe her kids and favor the pastor over them in ways that aren't really explored all that much. And the whole central premise of the original Night of the Hunter depends on the kid's dad, who has he went to jail for robbing a bank, and he stashes the money in the kid's doll. That's the whole premise. I should have said that to begin with, but that's the big money thing that he's after, the evil preacher guy who's marrying their mom. Anyway, like the whole premise of it is that the dad trusts his kids with this information more than their mother. He even explicitly says, "Do not tell your mother about this money. She's too weak," or something like that. Which is like such a fascinating, crazy thing that film kind of just takes for granted. And like, and you know, she does wind up being quite weak later on, so it's not like it's a plot hole or anything, but it is something that seems like another adaptation could explore her point of view a little bit more. uh, so in a weird way, I almost feel like having the preacher character be a bit more at a distance from us than the Night of the Hunter might be a bit more interesting. I don't know. That's my thought. I'm trying to be not optimistic. I think it probably will not be all that good, but I'm taking it as a writing exercise, right? What would I do if I had to adapt Night of the Hunter? And those are some ideas that I had. Let me know what you all think, if you're Night of the Hunter fans, or if you're just watching to see my face. Hey, here's my face. Thanks for looking at it. Uh, go watch Night of the Hunter. Bye. Hopping on here to point out that the team that's making this new one is the team that made The Black Phone, which I liked quite a bit, and I can see how making that movie might score them an adaptation like this, because that movie is also very much about uh, kids trying to beat a serial killer, and I don't know, it's not the same. Like, it does not really foreground that innocence that Night of the Hunter does. It's definitely a lot more sort of darker in a way that we would expect from a modern horror movie. And I I don't know. I think maybe what we're gonna get is something that feels like a Stephen King story, which you know, will probably be fine, but will also not maybe not be worth calling it Night of the Hunter. That's my prediction.